Good afternoon, family. How are you all doing? Happy Thursday. Today is Thursday, March the 30th, 2023, and the time is 2:05 p.m. Welcome. Hello, everybody. It's so good to see you. It's so good to be here. I just got off of a live with my friends, Gary and Caspa. Hi, Gary and Caspa. If you're listening or watching, from over in Europe. They're my good friends from a show called The Quantum Bridge. So if you all are on YouTube and you're subscribed to many channels, check out our Patriots over in, I think it's in England actually, but in Europe, Gary and Casper from the Quantum Bridge. They have interviewed me twice, and I will also hopefully bring them on the show so that you all can meet our lovely family that we have abroad. There are so many people that support us here in America. There are so many people all over the world who supports number 45 and truly knows that we are taking down those nefarious beings that have held us captive for centuries. So we have a lot of family abroad that I would like to introduce you to. So that will be coming up in the near future. Check in, family. Hello, praise Yeshua. Somebody said, yes, indeed. I am so happy to see everybody. Hi, North Carolina. New subscriber. Hi, JD. Thank you so much. Greetings to you too, James. It's so good to see you all. Hit the like button, please. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And share the video. So I've heard some news. And what I did was I made a meme, or somebody made a meme, actually a screenshot, and sent it to me. But I made that the thumbnail of this podcast because allegedly people are receiving an EAS, I think it called, or an EBS alert, some type of emergency broadcast system announcement on their telephones, on their televisions, and on their computers. Now, it started yesterday where I got a phone call and I heard somebody say, we got an emergency broadcast system announcement on the television. And then I got a text, and then I got another call. And so now I saw it on Twitter and somebody else sent me the screenshot. So allegedly, and you all can tell me if this is true, there are people, not everybody, but certain people in the states of Ohio, Texas, California, North Carolina, Alaska, Virginia, Arizona, New York, and other states that have allegedly received some type of emergency broadcast system announcement or an alert. Now, I read the whole I read the screenshot. I went over to Twitter and I followed the person, Ariel, I think the person's name is, who said that he had been getting many phone calls as well. And I read the entire thread. Some people were saying, well, we always get these type of emergency broadcast alerts if there's a tornado or something going on in a region. But what people were saying was they're receiving broadcast EABs or EBS announcements or alerts and tests in areas where they don't have tornadoes or they don't have inclement weather. So I'm just telling you that this is exciting, that possibly people really are receiving an emergency broadcast system announcement. But just in case this is authentic, I wanted you to know so you can be on the lookout. We do know that tomorrow, is it tomorrow or no, it's Saturday. Saturday is April 1st. And President Trump kept mentioning April 1st. And people are saying there's something significant that's supposed to happen on April 1st. So it does make sense that right now we would be receiving some type of testing of the EBA system. Thank you, A. Baker. We got an EBS while we're at the Trump's rally in Waco this past weekend. Thank you so much for making that announcement so that we can get our popcorn and get excited and get ready. Now, one of the things that I wanted to let you all know as well is that all of the BRICS nations that we've been talking about are now starting to come forward. They're starting to speak loudly about their thoughts about dropping the dollar. It's no coincidence to us. We're not surprised. We already knew this was going to happen, but now you actually see it being printed in the mainstream media. Hello, family. Check in. This is Dr. Kia Pruitt again, just talking about what's going on in the news. So before, this was just chatter behind the scenes, but I found an article that talks about Brazil and China actually agreeing to ditch the dollar. And this just came out, and I found it, but someone actually sent me this as well. And I wanted to bring this to the family because it may have seemed like the things that we were talking about could not be proven because maybe you didn't hear it on the mainstream media. I've spoken about this at length. Andy Schectman, the CEO of Miles Franklin Precious Metals Company, has spoken about this at length too. But look at this. This is in Fox Business News. It talks about how Brazil and China strike a trade deal to an agreement, by the way, to ditch the United States dollar. Why are people speaking of ditching the dollar? Look, they struck a deal to ditch the United States dollar in favor of their own currencies in trade transactions. First of all, why would they agree to drop the dollar? We know they're going to drop the dollar because the dollar has lost its value with all the money printing, with us reaching the debt ceiling. Remember, Janet Yellen made an announcement on January the 19th, on a Thursday, by the way, that we've reached the debt ceiling. We have to take extraordinary measures to do something to correct this. And these measures, these extraordinary measures that she wanted to utilize, what it was made of, what it was comprised of, is actually dipping into the retirement accounts of postal workers and of government workers in order to rectify the debts. Well, when you see something like that happening in this country with the United States dollar, after the dollar had been the world reserve currency, then you know you must do something as a head of a nation. So China and Brazil, according to this article, have agreed to drop the dollar in favor of their own currency. Now, how could they trade in their own currency? Listen closely, family. If their currency was worthless, how could they have done that? Thank you so much, Matthew, the creator. Bless you and smile upon you and give you great peace and love and joy and abundance. You always take such good care of Dr. Kia Pruitt, and I appreciate it. I love you so much. Family, how is it that these countries have agreed to drop the United States dollar and use their own currencies for trade unless their currencies have now been backed by commodities? Their currencies are no longer worthless, is the point that I want to get across. Okay, so this is very important to note that Brazil and China have struck a deal, and they're saying reportedly that this has been something that's now coming out in news, that somebody reported. Yes, we already knew this. We've been talking about this. Now you can see it in mainstream media. So I'm going to leave this article for you to look, to peruse through and see what they're talking about for yourself. But I'll read this first paragraph. The deal that was announced on Wednesday will enable China and Brazil to carry out trade and financial transactions directly, exchanging yuan for reais or vice versa, rather than first converting their currency to the US dollar. So the US dollar, family, is worthless, and now humanity, yes, thank you, is freed. We are free, family. You can see the writing on the wall, right? And we knew this already because we've been reporting that the BRICS union, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa left the United States dollar after 46 put sanctions on Putin, right? And Putin dropped the dollar first, and then he led the BRICS union into doing this. We've been talking about this extensively since last year, right? We've been telling you that BRICS was leaving the United States dollar. Then Saudi Arabia left, which is monumental, because what made the United States dollar the world reserve currency was our agreement with Saudi Arabia that will protect the Saudi kingdom in exchange for their oil, and that will force every country to trade using United States dollar through OPEC, right? So when we had that agreement, everything seemed to be going well for us. We had financial and economic hegemony. We were the leaders. We were the baddest people on the planet, financially speaking. And if you didn't do what we liked or what we wanted you to do, and you didn't use the United States dollar for trade, America would just send troops over to those countries, decimate their economy through war and or sanctions. But the time for that is over. Now, what they're doing right now is they're trickling out the information so that people who have no idea what's going on can see it happening little by little. But you all are so fortunate. You're so blessed. We all are here, our soul family, because we've been watching the dominoes fall. We know how to research for ourselves. We know how to read. I've been reporting this. We brought Andy Schectman here to validate and confirm the things that I've been saying, things that he's been saying for a long time, right? So we know that this is happening, especially now that it's happening in mainstream media. And what did I tell you December the 15th anyway? Remember when President Trump made an announcement from his Truth Social account? I told you all he's going to make an announcement. And then I reported that he made an announcement about his Trump card. And he also signed a digital Bill of Rights on the same day that the Bill of Rights was signed into law. I told you all this is monumental. I said, because through the digital Bill of Rights that he signed into law, what Trump is saying is that no longer can social media lie to us, but also mainstream media will have to stop lying to us. And I told you, I said, from now on, from this day forward, as of December 15, 2022, upward, you're going to see mainstream media tell the truth. And this is what we see happening. So again, Brazil and China just announced an agreement to drop the United States dollar and use their own currency for trade. So behind the scenes, they've already had their gold repatriated back to them, and they've revalued their currencies. So this is what we've been waiting for, a revaluation. Most people don't understand or overstand a revaluation. You're reinstating the value of a currency based on the commodities and resources that the country has. This is what has happened, right? We have been saying it's what's going to happen. It's a possibility. We know at some point, but I'm telling you right now, it has happened. Now, these two countries are not the only countries that have made an announcement in the mainstream media. Look at what the Asian countries are saying. The Asian finance ministers, and their central banks. Look at what they're saying here. This is the asianbriefing.com news. So I want to give a thank you for my friend Kevin Monroe for sending me this article, because I didn't see this. I didn't know about this article, even though we've been reporting news like this and similar news, right? But he got this article that actually was just published. Look at what it says, published on the 29th, which was yesterday. Asian finance ministers and central banks consider dropping the US dollar, euro, yen, and yen. Now, it's important that you see that they're talking about what they're considering, what they might do, what's a possibility. Okay, when they say they're considering it, you can trust it's already done, because we've already been reporting it. But they never want to tell you exactly where they are. By the time information comes out in the mainstream media, it has already occurred. By the time people find out what's going to happen, it has already happened. This is why Dr. Kia Pruitt says, get constitutional silver, go to your local coin shop, get silver, gold, silver coins, constitutional or junk silver, get sterling silver, whatever you can, because there's going to be a mad dash to silver dealers and coin companies really, really soon, as this information, this news comes out about these nations dropping the United States dollar, So contact your local dealer, but do know that a lot of dealers are running out of product. After you do that, and you find, they may or may not have what you want, contact Andy Schectman, info@milesfranklin.com, and ask them what they have in stock and order from them, and let them know that Dr. Kia Pruitt referred you, so you can get the best deal in the industry. So let's look at this a little closely. An official meeting of all Asian finance ministers, okay? This is a collective meeting, a big meeting, and their central bank governors kicked off on Tuesday. Remember, I told you something special always seems to happen on Tuesdays. Tuesdays are very important dates for the elites. And I'm not exactly sure why, but you always have big announcements on Tuesdays. Sometimes you'll have a State of the Union address on Tuesdays, and official announcements to come out on Tuesday. So this was an official meeting between all Asian finance ministers and their central bank governors in Indonesia. The top of the agenda was a discussion to reduce dependence on the United States dollar, the euro, the yen, and the British pound from financial transactions, and move to settlements in their local currencies. Again, why are they moving to settlements in their local currencies? Because a lot of world leaders are telling their people to drop the United States dollar. We just listened to Andy Schectman talk to us about how the Kenyan president just mentioned this the other day to the Kenyans. We've seen the Ghanaian president say this. We've seen the Zimbabwean president say this to his citizens. We've seen Al Sudani of Iraq tell his citizens to drop the United States dollar. What they are telling their citizens is the dollar has lost its value. So leave it alone and do not buy it on the black market. They're telling their citizens to trust in their own currency, their own country's currencies, because all of these world leaders are now building up their countries. They've also repatriated their gold back to them. Remember, we most recently heard Al Sudani from Iraq, actually last November, said, I'm working with other countries to return my stolen money. That means I'm working with other countries to bring back the gold, repatriate gold back to my country. Why? Not only because it belongs to him and to the citizens, but also because this is what will back up these countries' currencies. So this again is what a revaluation is. It is reinstating each world country or each country's currencies in the world back to its proper value based on the resources and commodities that those countries have. So this is the revaluation actually happening in real time. Thank you so much, M. Daniel, the creator. Bless you with long life, prosperity, joy, peace, and abundance and all of your heart's desires. So we see this happening right before our eyes. This is not only a revaluation that we see happening, but it is also a global currency reset. So what is a global currency reset? That means we're resetting or restarting a financial system here in America and all over the globe. So whereas the United States dollar was the world reserve currency, now that is changing. And now what's happening is countries are dropping the dollar, country after country simultaneously dropping the dollar so that they can decimate the value of the dollar and then crash that system and move to a gold system. So a global currency reset, a restarting, a reset of the global financial system that will be based on gold. So gold will be the standard instead of the United States dollar or the petrodollar backed by oil, you see. So this is the global currency reset that we've been waiting on, hoping on, thinking about. It is currently happening right before our eyes. Now look at this. The reason why these countries are now making an announcement is because it was something that they actually planned to do a long time ago, and they actually put into plan. They've been implementing this, but the world didn't know because people weren't ready possibly to hear this information. Not until you have a banking collapse and a banking crisis, not until you have the deep state talking about CBDCs, which we won't allow that. We're not going to allow that to happen. Once people get angry about you talking about bringing a centralized system of us doing transactions whereby we'll be surveyed and monitored heavily by the deep state, by the NWO, people will get angry and say, oh no, we've got to do something about that. So now we can start talking about countries dropping the United States dollar, and we can start talking about gold at the same time. So this is what we've been doing on this channel, bringing all that information to you so that you can see the whole picture. So again, we talked about this agreement of 100 plus nations. This is called Project Sandman. 100 plus nations is what they called it. I said 209 plus nations. That's what I was told in 2017. 209 nations, or all the world countries behind the scenes, made an agreement to drop the dollar. So let's look at this. I know you've seen it before, but I keep reiterating this to let you see that this is a reality. Before, when we were talking about it, it seemed like a dream. It seemed like I was making it up. It seemed like, okay, it's a possibility. But now we see it happening. 100 plus nations made global agreements that is now being deployed to drop and end dominance of the United States dollar and petrodollar. And what it describes is, when triggered, This is an agreement that when triggered, you'll see all these nations simultaneously drop the dollar and abandon the petrodollar status that has allowed the United States to enjoy what they call it, financial and economic hegemony, or 50 years of fiat currency and counterfeiting and printing and all this at the expense of everybody else. Now, I like that they mentioned 50 years of fiat currency, because coming from a Hebraic background, I know 50 years, that kind of makes me excited, because during every 50 years you're supposed to have a jubilee, a debt jubilee, a eradicating of debts and canceling out all debts. So that makes me excited. It makes me think that Nasara and Jasara will actually happen right now, after you see all of these countries drop the dollar. So it says this will happen when triggered. And when it is triggered, the dollar and all dollar denominated assets will plunge to near zero, literally overnight. So that means all dollar denominated bank accounts, bonds, pension funds, treasuries, and other investment vehicles will essentially be worth zero, for the simple reason that all banks and markets will freeze operations. This is what Jim Rickards calls ICE 9, or the ICE 9 scenario. So you see this happening, family, and you see country after country now actually stating behind the scenes, kind of quietly, because mainstream media, I don't think they're talking about it yet. We are dropping the United States dollar. So that was Asian finance ministries and central banks mentioned that, and Brazil and China. But we've been talking about that for a very long time. And we brought to you this article about Project Sandman. Now, I told you a while ago that those weren't the only nations. It wasn't just Brazil. It wasn't just Russia, India, China, South Africa that agreed to drop the dollar, and then Saudi Arabia. But what I told you is, once Saudi Arabia made that announcement that they were indeed dropping the United States dollar, people in other countries, or other country leaders, they stopped. They weren't worried. Look, this is me getting all excited. They weren't worried. They, in fact, became courageous, and they dropped the United States dollar once they saw we didn't send a nuclear weapon over to Saudi Arabia. We didn't do anything to destroy Saudi Arabia once they left petrodollar status. Once they joined BRICS, it was over. It was over for the dollar, because what made the dollar the world reserve currency was our agreement with Saudi Arabia. So here we go, family. Now, what I told you here in this video is that it wasn't just the BRICS nations that left the dollar. By the way, Russia and Putin was the trigger. He led all the BRICS to leave the dollar, then Saudi Arabia, but other countries that they haven't even told you about. Other countries said, I'm joining BRICS, or they applied to join BRICS, or they were tapped on the shoulder to join BRICS. So here are all the nations. I want to let you hear this video right here. I talked about how there were about 44 nations behind the scenes that we know of that have actually made overt announcements that nobody else has heard of. Okay, so I talked about this, and Andy Schectman talked about this as well. He can validate and confirm the things that we've said over here on this channel. So I'm going to let you hear this video. This is me about a month ago speaking about all the nations that overtly joined BRICS that has not made it to the mainstream media yet. So if you have a pen and paper, here is the video. Let me let you see if you can see this here. It says RVGCR. Here are the nations that overtly joined BRICS. I think this is one of my live videos streamed a month ago. Write down, this is the 10-minute mark, 10.44, and then I'm going to stop at 12:06. So listen to all the nations that have agreed, okay, to join BRICS. I'm going to go over here and let you see the transcript. Andy Schectman taught me how to do that. So the transcript right here is on my right. It may be on your left. So again, I'm going to go to the 10:44 mark so you all can see this and hear for yourself all the nations that officially joined BRICS. I should say overtly joined BRICS. There were 209 that have made this agreement, but overtly we have document and records and evidence of these countries that have joined the BRICS Union. Here we go. I'm at the 10:44 mark. Please let me know in the comment section what you think about this and say yes if you can hear it.
So here are the BRICS plus nations: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Turkey, Indonesia, Senegal, Nigeria, Afghanistan, Iran, Egypt, Kazakhstan, Saudi Arabia, Argentina, the AE, the UAE, Algeria, Egypt, Iran, Afghanistan, Kazakhstan, India, we've said India, Indonesia, Thailand, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Panama, Bolivia, Cuba, Ecuador, Chile, Peru, Uruguay, Venezuela, Azerbaijan, Mongolia, Pakistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Sri Lanka, Vietnam, excuse me. Those are the 44 nations. And then you have three that may not have overtly admitted or stated that they are applying to or are a part of BRICS, but we know they're using gold as money and gold for trade because they stated it emphatically. That includes Iraq, Ghana, and Zimbabwe. Now, we all know that El Sudani.
So those are the nations that we know of that have joined BRICS. Some of those nations have been asked to join BRICS, have been identified as good candidates. So I wanted you to hear that. I hope I started at the right the right mark. But if I haven't, then what I'll do for you all is I'll make sure I put that in the description section so that you can hear it for yourself. So many things are happening, family, where people are overtly coming straight out and saying we're dropping the United States dollar. This is very important. Okay, this is very serious. Country after country is saying we're not going to use the dollar for trade. We don't trust the dollar. We know that it's over for the United States, but do know that behind the scenes we're going to be okay as well. Now, in the media, they will spin it like the West is in trouble and everybody's dropping the dollar and we're going to be in trouble. Now they're going to bring out the CBDCs, but I've shown you articles where we are making steps, or I should say Republican legislators are making steps to combat the CBDCs. At the same time, you have state after state that are repealing the taxes from the use of precious metals. Right now, we have 43 states that have repealed or removed taxes from the sale of precious metals, which is very important because when you remove the tax from the sale of precious metals, you are thus identifying precious metals as real money, as legal tender, but also lawful money. Now, we don't need legislators to do that for us, actually, because according to our Constitution for the Republic, what is real money is gold and silver. Article 1, Section 10 explicitly states of the Constitution for our Republic, the United States of America, that the only thing that can be used to pay off debt is silver and gold. We also know that the Constitution defines the dollar as a fixed weight in silver. Additionally, we know that Alexander Mooney, the House representative of the state of West Virginia, has introduced two bills, House Resolution 5404 that was under 45's administration and House Resolution 9157. He took a step further when he introduced House Resolution 9157 in October. He called it the Gold Standard or the Gold Standard Restoration Act. What those two bills, the first one, House Resolution 5404, which was introduced around 2018, and then 9157, which was introduced in October around the 10th of 2022. What they state is that they would define the dollar as a fixed weight in gold. They are preparing us for the gold standard. That's why Alexander Mooney, or Money, you're right, they only have one extra O, called it the Gold Restoration Act. It is also why they're producing articles now, if you know where to find them. And I've shown you that one by King World News that says the world is hurtling back towards gold. They're preparing us to move towards gold being the standard of all the world, so that every country now will be using gold and or silver or real and lawful money for trade. And every country will revalue their currencies, reinstate their currencies with to its normal value, and they'll be able to do that because they're backing it by gold, silver, and other resources that they have in their countries. At the same time, something just came out that made me excited, and that is an article that says that the governor of Tennessee actually signed a bill into law that creates a process for the state to sell, buy, and hold gold and silver. Oh my God. I'm just so excited because I've been saying for the longest we will be using gold and silver as money. And it seemed like this couldn't happen, but now we actually see it happening right before our eyes. Check out this article, family. This was in shiftgold.com. Tennessee governor signs a bill authorizing the state gold and silver reserves. Published on yesterday. Like I said, they present information when people are able to digest it. Now that people are making bank runs, people see that bank stocks are tanking. They understand that Deutsche Bank over in Europe, the second largest bank over there, is having trouble. The smaller banks, especially when with Silicon Valley Bank had issues, the smaller banks now over here in America have issues. People know that it's spreading, this contagion of banks collapsing, or at least the stocks tanking, is something we need to take note of. So what people do when they're worried about their money in their savings and their retirement accounts typically is to put it in a safe place. It makes no sense to put it in the bank. I mean, you can, but not to accrue a whole lot of interest if the dollar is devaluing. So what a lot of people are doing is they're turning it over into gold and silver. They're doing that so because gold and silver, they are a hedge against inflation, and gold and silver holds their value. They maintain their value. As a matter of fact, it will increase in value because you have to first of all, you're going to have to revalue the gold in order to pay off all the debts that America has and to pay off the debts in the world. What economists are saying is you have to revalue gold to between $10,000 and $100,000 per ounce in order to pay off the debts here in America alone. And some economists are saying you're going to have to revalue gold to be as much as $800,000 per ounce. Now, I'm not an economist, although I did study economics, but I can follow the money and I can see what the big money is doing. I see what Robert Kiyosaki is doing. I heard him say that we're about to have a stock market crash and that you need to go to gold. I saw President Trump make a deal with AppMax company back in 2012. He rented out a whole floor of one of his towers to AppMax, and they paid him off to lease that floor in gold. And he said then, this is an indication of what is to come. Okay, so let's look at this article here. Tennessee governor signed a bill into law that will create a process to allow the state to buy, sell, and trade gold and silver. Buy, sell, and hold gold and silver. Here we go. The governor of Tennessee, Bill Lee, signed a bill into law that creates a process for the state to buy, sell, and hold gold and silver. This sets a foundation for Tennessee to achieve more financial independence with gold and silver reserves, and could help undermine the Federal Reserve's monopoly on money. So everybody's trying to undermine the Federal Reserve. Remember what that 17 letter said a long time ago. We have the gold, and gold will destroy the Fed. So family, take note of what's going on around you. We just showed you articles of the Asian finance ministers and Asian central banks saying they're dropping the dollar. I showed you an article that said Brazil and China struck a deal to stop using the dollar for trade. You've been watching me for a while. I've talked about how countries in Central South America, as well as in North America, countries in Africa, all over the world have said they've had enough of the United States dollar. So when they drop the dollar for trade, all those dollars will come flooding back home and be worth nothing. Or as we showed in that article about Project Sandman, all the dollar and dollar denominated assets will plunge to near zero. You all remember, that Andy Schectman had told us, and I'll see if I can find this for you. A while ago, he did what did he do? He did an interview with me. We talked for a minute, and I asked him, Andy, what do you think about all the stuff that's going on right now in the world? When was this? This was actually 2 months ago. Well, this was 2 months ago when I put this video up, but this might have been a video from even before that. But 2 months ago, I put this video up and I asked him, what do you think about what's going on in the world? And he said then that the whole world people seem to be asleep, not recognizing that the dollar is losing its value. He said something else that I want to bring to your attention right now, family. And especially this weekend, because we never know when these things are going to happen. He said we need to be prepared because when the dollar completely loses its power and when the United States loses financial and economic hegemony, then something will happen. He said you'll go to sleep on a Sunday and wake up Monday to a whole new world. In other words, right now, things are happening behind the scenes, and it seems like it's just happening slowly, at least to the world, because they're just now seeing certain things. And I don't even think they're awake yet. But it's going to happen where a whole flood of information is going to come out that banks are collapsing, that the stock market is going to crash. And I showed you a video yesterday. We talked about an article where they actually came out, stock watchers and economists are saying and predicting that we're about to have a big market collapse that will rival what we saw in 2008. When people wake up and they see what's going on, some of them might take to the streets, some of them are going to get angry, some of them are going to go rush to the banks and try to make bank runs. And then you're going to have people that just going to I don't want to say lose it, but they may panic and freak out because they didn't know this was all going on. They only heard trinkets, just a little bit of news about a bank collapse, about a market collapse. They only heard a little bit about banking crises, but then you had people come up and say, oh, don't worry about it. And even when you go and you talk to your banker and your managers in the bank, they say, oh, no, don't worry about it. We've got everything under control. Your money is safe here. But there will come a time when the masses will awaken and they're going to rush to the coin dealers, the gold sellers, the silver dealers, and they're going to all start buying up constitutional money, or constitutional silver, what they call junk silver, and gold and silver bars and coins. You don't want to be there during that mad rush. Get ahead of the game while you can. So go to your local coin dealer and ask them, what do you have? How much is constitution? Let me tell you something about constitutional coins, or what they used to call junk silver, is that it used to be really cheap and inexpensive, but so many people buying it up. You can ask your coin dealer. You can call Miles Franklin. Look up some of these other online dealers and look for constitutional silver or junk silver, and you'll see it's out of stock. For the most part, it's either out of stock or it's going to take a long time for shipment to get to you. Why? Because people are buying up constitutional silver. They're buying it up because everybody recognizes those the half dollars, the dimes, the money that was minted before 1964. Merchants recognize that as real money, so they'll use that again. Now, if everything freezes and stops for a while, you'll be able to trade with these merchants using constitutional money or junk silver. This is why you need it on hand. So I want to thank my friend Oscar for telling me that the other day. But you want to diversify as much as you can. You get constitutional or junk silver, and you have silver coins, silver bars, whatever you can afford. And if it's in your budget, get gold. I'm a silver advocate. This is not financial advice. I love silver because silver is significantly undervalued. You have more gold above ground than you have silver, yet gold has only been used for jewelry and money, whereas silver has been used for jewelry, it's been used for money, technology. It has all type of purposes. It's in the solar panels, your computer, your cell phones, your refrigerator, stove, your microwave oven, all your appliances, washer and dryer. Silver is in your catalytic converter, as well as platinum and palladium. Silver has a lot of industrial purposes. We need silver for technology, and all those technologies that's going to be released, that's been suppressed, that will be released again under Nasara and Jasara. What's going to happen when Elon Musk and all these companies say, all right, it's time to make all these products? They're going to need silver. So it's significantly undervalued. It's been suppressed. We're about to end on what I think it's been 170 years of price suppression of silver and gold. So people will say, Pruitt, it doesn't look like it's worth anything. When you think about how much silver and gold cost, or how much it's worth, it doesn't look like it's worth anything, because right now, let's see, gold is only $1,984 an ounce, and silver is going down. It was just $23, $24 an ounce. Now it's a little over $21 an ounce, but they've been suppressing the prices so that you wouldn't know and I wouldn't know that silver and gold are lawful money. They hold, they maintain their value, they increase in value. So instead of looking at it as worthless, which some people would tell you not to look at, don't think about silver and gold. Oh, silver just went up a little bit. Don't think about silver and gold. Oh, it's worthless. Gold is a relic. Look at silver and gold having low prices right now as a buying opportunity, because price suppression of silver and gold, 170 years of price suppression, is about to end. It has to end, because at the end of every empire, they print the money. I keep saying this. They spend up all the money. They rack up all the debt, and then they explode that. They crash that system and move to a sound monetary system. It's called the crack up boom. Okay, this happens at the end of every empire. The pseudo-Roman Empire, also known as the United States Incorporated, or those Draco reptilians that control the whole world through the Federal Reserve, is over, kaput, bankrupt. And this is being accelerated not only by the money printing and the quantitative easing, but by country after country dropping the United States dollar. And when those dollars again come flooding back into our country, they devalue and they completely lose their value. So look, right now, gold is $1,984.20 an ounce, and silver is $23.89 an ounce. Do what you can, because the price suppression is about to end. Not only because they're crashing that system. Remember, I said they print up all the money, as much fiat as they can. They rack up the debt. We already heard Janet Yellen on January 19th, on that Thursday, say, we've reached the debt ceiling. There's nowhere else to go. We're going to have to either go higher, although we can't afford to, or we're going to have to tap into the retirement accounts of postal workers and government workers. We've reached the debt ceiling. At the end of every empire, they print up the money. They rack up the debt. They spend the credit. They cause the bubble to grow and grow and grow until it bursts. And then they crash the system and move to a sound monetary system. Now, was this planned? Probably. It probably was planned. It may have been planned by the bad guys. Who knows? In order to usher in the CBDCs, to completely explode that system, the fiat system, to completely get rid of it so we can move to another centralized system. Or it could have been a plan of the good guys. It could have been a plan of the good faction of the Federal Reserve, the white hats and Nasara white knights that were already in there working from the inside to allow that system to crash and to bring up a sound system. Or it could be both. It could be that the bad guys said, we're going to do a crack up boom. We're going to explode the system and move to the central CBDCs, the central bank digital currency, and monitor everybody and monitor what they buy. And if we don't like what they buy, then we can hurt them. Or, like I said, or it could be both, where the good guys decided, we're going to let this go ahead and happen, and then we're going to explode it, and we're going to move to a sound monetary system, not CBDCs, not central bank digital currencies, but we're going to move towards gold. So let me let you see what I mean by a crack up boom. And then I'll take questions and we will close for the day. Here we go. Crack up boom. I want you to see this for yourself. What is a crack up boom? This is the definition. A crack up boom is an economic crisis that involves a recession in the real economy and a collapse of the monetary system due to continual credit expansion and resulting in unsustainable rapid price increases. See inflation going through the roof. This concept of a cracker boom was developed by Austrian economist Ludwig van Mises as a part of the Austrian business cycle theory. A cracker boom is characterized by a few key features: excessively expansionary monetary policy that leads to out of control inflation, and a resulting bout of hyperinflation, which ends in the abandonment of the currency by market participants and a simultaneous recession depression. So it crashes the credit and monetary system. And after that, what you do after you crash that system is then you introduce a new system. And in our case, it will be based on or backed by gold. So that's it, family. I just wanted to bring that information to the family so that you can know what's going on behind the scenes. If you have not gotten your silver and gold now, or you desire to add silver and gold to your portfolio, or if you desire to roll over your IRA into a gold IRA, contact our friends, Andy Schectman and his brokers at Miles Franklin by emailing info@milesfranklin.com and ask them what they have in inventory. Ask them about constitutional silver. Ask them about coins. Ask them about bars, however much you desire, whether it be 1 ounce, 1 ounce coins in a certain amount, or bars, and all the way up to, I think I'm almost certain they have 100-ounce bars. But find out what they have in inventory and the prices and order what you can afford. Also, you can ask any geopolitical questions, financial questions, because all the brokers have that knowledge. All of these brokers are friends and family members of Andy Schectman. You all over here know him as the CEO of Miles Franklin. He's also a friend of ours, a patriot. He loves our country. His family, he says, started from nothing. They got the name Miles Franklin because his father's middle name is Miles. His father's best friend's name was Franklin. He gave the family enough money to start this business, and now they've approached $9 billion in sales. They have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, and they've not had one customer complaint. So you have seen a whole market collapse in 2008. Most of us in our lifetime, we've experienced this. Our great-grandparents had experienced the Great Depression in the 30s. We've seen the stock market collapse every Shemitah cycle, every 7th year. It's happening right before our eyes, but we can prepare. Do what you can to prepare. Get your family members together. Get you some food, some water, a way to protect your families, some supplies, batteries, just things that you might have on hand in case two things happen. In case there's a supply chain interruption that keeps getting bigger, which is happening already. That's why it's taking so long for you to get your merchandise when you order things. And in case what happens is when everybody gets the EBS alert, the emergency system broadcasting announcement, and we're told to stay in our homes, because we might or may not have some type of curfew. But if that happens and everybody is in their homes, and then they're watching on the news about these nefarious beings that have enslaved the planet and how they had to be taken down by the white hats of the military, because you all know here that we're under a military operation. This is World War III going on. We just don't know it. This war against good and hate evil behind the scenes. When people hear this information about war going on behind the scenes, and they hear information about what's been happening to our children, and they hear information about what they've been doing to our food, and they hear about the banking crisis and banking collapse and stock market crash and bank runs, some people will become frustrated. They may become angry. They may have to have some release. They may shout, they may scream, they may take to the streets. Who knows? They may rush to the stores to go and buy supplies, because when people become enraged and or in a panic, that's when a lot of people start to prepare. They become reactionary. But we don't have knee-jerk reactions over here. We don't react. We're proactive. We take responsibility for our lives and we plan ahead and implement the plan. So while you still have some time before everybody gets an emergency broadcast system announcement, you all get your food, your water, your supplies, and a means to protect your family. You gather your family together and bring them under your care and under your shelter so that you can know they're okay. You do the work now, especially you leaders and the matriarchs and patriarchs. Do it now so that you're not trying to get ready when it's too late. Fill up your tanks with gas if you can right now, because people might just start rushing to the gas station. When we had some announcements to come out because we had inclement weather here in Florida over the summer, people got gas. They rushed to the gas station at the last minute. So then now that people who needed to travel could not get gas, it was hard to find gas. People was running around trying to look for water because they said we might have, I think they were saying we might have a hurricane. And I live in northern Florida, but they said it could hit here first. Let me tell you, no, it could hit here second or last after it came from the south. But there was nowhere to buy water. I was so glad I already had a whole lot of water stored up in my closet under my sink. And I learned that from my grandmother. She always had jugs and gallons of water underneath her sink. And that was before you bought water. She would actually fill it up from her tub and from her sink and put it in the jug, the milk jugs, and put them underneath the sink and in the closet, in the shelter, on the back porch, as well as have food stored up. So my grandmother taught me, and my grandmother was born in 1919. So she had seen some things and heard some things about the Great Depression, and she was always ready. So I always try to be in the place where I'm not getting ready, but I am ready. I will always tell my children, don't tell me what you're going to do. Tell me what you have done. That's the type of person that I am. So get ready, be ready. If you're ready, you won't have to get ready. So that's it, family. We are preparing for the EBS. And as I started out this broadcast, there have been people that have been calling me and calling others from various states saying we got some type of emergency broadcast system announcement to come on our phones and to or either on our computers or on our television. I don't know how serious that is. Some people said it could just be something that had to do with inclement weather. Others have said, but we don't have inclement weather in our states. Here are the states that have announced seeing some type of EBS or EBA, I think they call it. That is the Ohio, Texas, California, the Carolinas, Alabama, Virginia, Arizona, New York, and allegedly some of the other states. And finally, family, I want to thank you all for reaching out to Gold Star Mother Susan Price and asking her to help you with your humanitarian projects. That means so much to us. She told me as of yesterday, she had helped about 70, a little over 70 people write or complete their humanitarian project. Some of you, she did it. She did a whole lot for you. So I want to thank you all. It was over 70 people that she helped as of yesterday. I don't even know how many people she's helped today. Gold Star Mother Susan Price is the mother of a fallen soldier or a Marine who was killed in a line of action while he was on a secret mission or on a mission within a mission to help restore our freedoms. He was a white hat. So a Gold Star parent is a parent of a fallen soldier. I was very blessed to meet Gold Star Mother Susan Price about 2 months ago, and we've connected and become very fast friends. She's been on our platform to tell her story and also to talk about what's going on behind the scenes. She's left information about documentaries you can watch, documents you can examine, like the notable resignation list of those people that were arrested and or forced to resign. She's told us about some of the things that's been going on in the military that she can tell because she is also a veteran and her dad was a Marine. So she comes from a line of military. We give thanks to her for her service, and we give thanks to her son, Aaron Kennevic, and we pray that his soul rests in eternal peace because, again, he was killed in a line of duty. So what she did was she came to our platform to talk to us about humanitarian projects, what they are, how you can write down the ideas, how you can create them. She told us how to put them together with the pictures and the mission statement. I mean, she went through 2 hours of detail a couple of days ago, and then you all emailed her and she helped many of you. So she will come back on tomorrow to review your humanitarian projects. That is tomorrow, Friday, March the 31st, 2023 at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I always do that. She has said what she wants for you to do is to bring your projects that you've worked on, as well as, other ideas, a pen, pad, and questions. That's on tomorrow. You'll talk to Gold Star Mother Susan Price, and she will help you as much as she can. So, family, that's what we have lined up. But we also have on Tuesday, April the 4th at 1 o'clock, XRP Lion 1. We also call him Dave, will be here to talk to us about how to transfer your XRP from your wallet to the nano ledger. Plus, he'll give us more information. We are so blessed to know wonderful, amazing people here on the Dr. Kia Pruitt show that love humanity, people who are patriots, people who are God beings and sovereign entities, sovereign beings, beings that are operating in their highest self to help us as we get ready to ascend to higher higher states of consciousness and to 4 and 5D. So that's it, family. Hello. I'm getting ready to go. Your welcome is my great pleasure. Please remember to contact Andy Schectman, info@milesfranklin.com, and ask him what products he has. And for a list of his inventory and prices, order whatever you need. Make sure you state that Dr. Kia Pruitt referred you so you can get the best prices in the industry. Thank you, Donald. He said it's no longer called the EBS. It's now the EIS. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. Can you tell me what the EIS stands for? That's about it, family. They're testing this system for the go time. I'm just looking to see if anybody has questions. All right. Somebody says, watch Trump's inauguration speech at 1:20 in Trump's hands. Power to the military. Thank you, Mark. All right, family. My name is Dr. Kia Pruitt. I hope I've said something to raise your vibrations and to inspire you to create the most amazing, magnificent life that you desire and deserve. Go out and make this a great day. I'll see you on tomorrow. Peace. And remember, Gold Star Mother Susan Price will be here at 10 o'clock, bright and early in the morning. Bring your projects, your pen, your pad, and your questions. I'll talk to you later. You're awesome too. And thank you for that compliment. I, my darlings, are a reflection of you. I am the joy that you are. I am the awesomeness that you are. I am the God being that you are. So what you see in me that you like or you love is actually who you are. And I am that reflection. Peace, family. Bye for now. Creator bless you all. Bye-bye.